Today I will show you how to terminate Leviton's SDX, LC, and SC splice modules. To do this, you will need some tools and consumables, including Arab and yard scissors, fiber strippers for 250 and 900 micron fiber, a marking pen, lint-free wipes, isopropyl alcohol or fiber cleaning solution, a disposable bin for fiber shards, and a small screwdriver. When terminating high fiber count armored or outside plant cables, additional tools and consumables may be required. These include a flex conduit cutter, a sheath cutter, gel solvent, some marking tape, and a tape measure. A fusion splicer is also required during this termination process. The fusion splicing kit should include the splicing unit, a precision cleaver, a stripping tool or thermal stripper for removing ribbon or single fiber, and appropriate fiber holders. The parts that come with the SDX module include the module with lid and a pigtail kit installed, and an instruction sheet with a marking template for the fibers. The accessory kit includes the universal splice sleeve holder, mesh sleeve used to protect 900 micron buffered fibers or other jacketed cable assemblies, nylon tie wraps, build-up tape, and splice sleeves. The splice module has a single chamber which consists of channels that route the inbound trunk cabling, a mounting point for the splice sleeve holders, and a slack storage area while all fibers route to the holder for termination. The pigtails are wound through the storage area, and the pigtail connectors are already installed in the couplers. The pigtails will stay connected to the couplers throughout the termination process. The first step in preparing the module for termination is to remove the top lid. Engage the release tab and lift the lid from the rear of the module base. Now you'll see the pigtail with the service coil. You will remove those fibers from the tray and lay them out flat. The SDX splice module loads into the receiving slots from the front only. When using SDX fixed enclosures and SDX panels with single adapter openings, route all cables or assembly legs to the front side of the device before beginning the termination process. When using SDX enclosures with sliding trays, remove the tray from the enclosure rearward to perform all termination work. The incoming cable opening at the rear of the splice module has a diameter of 14 millimeters or 0.55 inches. While most common 12 fiber cables have a smaller diameter, each incoming fiber should be evaluated to verify correct sizing, as cable constructions do vary. When using most cable constructions, 12 and 24 fiber cables in their outer jacket can be routed directly to the splice module. For overall fiber cabling larger than 14 millimeters, secure the cable to the enclosure cable management tie-down points according to the device's instructions. Remove the outer jacket after the tie-down point, and if there are no subunit tubes, utilize the mesh sleeve provided in this accessory kit to protect and route the individual fibers to the module. Remove at least 48 inches of outer jacket from the entrance point to the splice module. Feed incoming cables through the rear opening and secure through the tie wrap slots and over the cable jacket with one of the provided nylon cable ties. This tie wrap will be removed after pre-routing and marking of fibers prior to termination. Route the trunk fibers through the cable entry channel and around the module base clockwise, 1 to 2 loops as desired. Mark the fibers at the 0 mark guide, remove the tie wrap, and remove all fibers from the module. As an option, route all fibers through the splice sleeve holder area and cut after exiting 1/2 inch past the far end of the holder. When using this method, you will mark the fiber 30 millimeters back from the end for positioning in the fiber holder. The pigtail kit is designed to allow for single fusion splicing. This will determine the routing and marking steps of the pigtail. All connectors will remain mated during the termination process. Route the pigtail counterclockwise through the management tabs until all the slack is stored, 1 to 2 full loops is desired, and the fibers are entering the splice sleeve holder area. Mark the fibers at the 0 mark guide and remove all fibers from the storage area. As an option, route all fibers through the splice sleeve holder area and cut after exiting 1/2 inch past the far end of the holder. When using this method, you will mark the fiber 30 millimeters back from the end for positioning in the fiber holder. We are now ready to perform fusion splicing. Each splice module is provided with polarity method duplex A to A. When providing a duplexed A to B channel, one of the modules may need to be LC position modified or spliced in a different order. Please refer to the Leviton applications note, polarity modifications in the molded SDX splice module for further information. Place the splice module on the right side of the Fusion Splicer and the bulk cable on the left side. Place the splice sleeve holder near the Fusion heater with the single splice sleeve positions away from the splicer. Install the single splice sleeves as required on the trunk cable fibers. Using the marking guide on the provided instruction sheet, shorten all fibers to 30 mm to the zero mark. Strip all tight buffered coating, loose tubing or coatings, and the acrylite back to the zero mark of both fibers to be fused. Load each fiber into the appropriate fiber holder, cleave and place the holder in the Fusion Splicer. Perform the Fusion Splice, verifying acceptable loss and tension test. Remove the splice fiber from the holders and position the splice sleeve centered over the splice. Perform the heat shrink of the sleeve. Once the spliced fiber has cooled, install it in the splice sleeve holder. Place the first splice in the position closest to the splicer. After each splice, load the fibers into the splice sleeve holder in the following order for single fiber terminations. Make sure the internal strengthening rod is in the down position when you install it into the splice sleeve holder. Now we will begin loading the terminated assembly into the module base. Begin by feeding the fibers from the connectors into the pigtail channel. Rotate the module base clockwise while placing the grouped fibers under the cable management tabs. When the splice sleeve holder location is reached, carefully snap the splice sleeve holder or holders into the receiving tabs with the splice sleeves positioned nearest to the incoming trunk cable. Verify all routed fibers are under tabs and free of all snags. Continue rotating clockwise to route the remaining grouped fibers into the module base under the tabs. Loosely secure 2 nylon tie wraps around the incoming cable. Cut an appropriate length of build-up tape and place it around the incoming cable. Place the final length of trunk fiber in the channel to the tie wrap entrance. Fine-tune for any bend radius or routing adjustments. Secure the trunk cable to the base with the 2 provided tie wraps. Verify all fibers are underneath the cable management tabs. Install the lid and the termination of the splice module is complete. Install each SDX splice module to its target location in a tray, panel, or adapter bracket. If using an SDX enclosure, load each into the final termination location respectively. Attach the trunk to the appropriate tie-down point and route any breakout slack as identified by the device's instructions. If using a breakout kit, attach the trunk breakout head to the first lance point upon entering the enclosure or rear cable manager. Route any breakout slack as identified by the device's instructions. If using an SDX patch panel, load all cassettes into the target panel position. Install the recommended rear cable management tray, secure the trunk, and route all slack on the tray. Learn more about the SDX Splice Module and the SDX family of fiber solutions at leviton.com/SDX.